Hi, I'm Chris Rees. I'm a retired civil engineer and live directly opposite the southern end of Wagg down here. The flooding on the 4th of December followed a breach at this point and then progressed steadily down Wagg, obviously coming into small reservoir areas before then passing on again, coming right down through to us at who knows exactly, but we were aware of it at about 10:15. It washed the turnips out of this field here and brought them all down through into our back garden, in fact. And this is an illustration of the same thing on a just on a Google Earth map, just indicating the progress, and it split and the reservoir pulled back down here. Before the flood, I wasn't aware of the existence of Wagg. I now know that it's an old watercourse that was upgraded by Yeovil District Council in 1982 to form a flood relief asset, defence. And in fact, gradients of just following local topography, which is all you can do, gradients are very slack, 1 in 500. That's really the minimum you can have to get any effective flood relief. Which brings you a width. Obviously, if you've got a very slack gradient, then you need to compensate for that by going for a width. And the base width design is 3.5 meters, which is pretty substantial. 11.5 feet to average height guys lying down head to head. Brings it into focus a bit. The arrow here is at the point of the breach. This is in fact designated as an Environment Agency flood defence asset. The whole lot's listed on their flood defence website. And this is the area where we had the worst of the blockage, which ties in with the Rhyne having to turn a right angle. There's another acute angle here, so you've got potentially quite a blockage system here. Ideally, you should really have a line taken through this field to here so that you've got a much more acceptable flow profile. We weren't able to get any reaction from the EA, and we just got a team together and cleared the blockage ourselves. A team of great volunteers. And you can see, in fact, from the photographs here, that this gives the reprofiling and the grading of the bank here give you a significantly improved flow pattern, which in fact reduced the impact of the January the 4th storm event, because there was there was flooding, but not anywhere near to the same extent. That's due to blockages and vegetation growth and frankly loss of width further down the Rhyne. Show this one very briefly because the distance between these two arrows here is exactly 3.5 meters. Now I know you get a perspective effect, but nevertheless my own estimation is that width, which is still not down to the base of course, is barely 2 meters, maybe 2.2, something like that. Apologies for duplicating here, but I think it gives a very clear idea of the before and after situation, which has got to be, frankly, has got to be applied to the whole of Wagg, particularly the base width, with decent machinery in there and decent engineers checking everything. Essentially, in 2006, I think it was, the EA brought in this, under DEFRA's guidance, brought in the definition of a main river as being one where a significant number of people and or properties are liable to flood if there's as a result of flooding from that watercourse. The key to the whole issue is that Wagg is now designated as a main river. This is after all the changes of DEFRA. It went from Yeovil District Council to South Somerset District Council, then to the EA. This is all over a period of 1996, or a little before that, through to 2006. But one of the things the EA then brought in was to designate particular waterways as main rivers if they were in a position, if they were probably a causal contribution to flooding of properties. Jumping about a bit here, this is the breach area. This entire length of this Rhyne should be 3.5 metres base width. It's nowhere near that. Obviously, as you can see from these areas here, it has caused, it's subsided, maybe had minor earth slips, slip circle failures, etc. in the past, and as we now know, is very susceptible to any reduction in flow downstream, with the consequence that up comes the water and down it goes down Wagg Drove. Earlier this month I wrote to the Chief Engineer of the Environment Agency outlining all the concerns that relate to this flood event. The response from the local Environment Agency management has been basically zilch, nil. Very encouraged, however, by the response from Ian Hodge, who's Chief Engineer and Director in charge of all Environment Agency assets throughout the UK, and we look forward to receiving the full response. Watch this space.